Welcome back to my channel. My name is Robin. I garden in Zone 6 in Northwest Connecticut. So my chore for the week, I started to say the other day when I was working on the annuals, things are, I think because of the extreme weather we've been having with the pouring rain, things are flopping all over the place. So plants are laying on top of one another, especially the bigger shrubs. Things are really falling open. So I've got a lot of cutback to do that I was kind of hoping to avoid, frankly. So whether it's deadheading daisies or just my daily deadheading daylilies, because I do that every day. But still have catmint, I still have salvia to cut back. I'm cutting back Joe Pye weed. I'm cutting back my herbstone Rebecca. I'm looking around trying to see what else. I've got maybe some spireas to cut back. I have persicaria to cut back. So I have a lot of different things. I'm going to try and take you along for as much as I can. Thank God today it's not humid like it's been, but it's supposed to return again tomorrow. So, I don't know how much I'm actually going to get done or how much I'm going to be able to video, and I'll try and show you when I'm finished. Like I said, I still have more catmint that hasn't been cut down. I have some Veronica that hasn't been cut back, that needs to be cut back. I have a few things that need to be moved. I planted some lupins. They're doing great in one bed and they're doing terrible in another bed, so I'm trying to move those. I had a little foxglove that I put in one of my beds right next to Baptisia, and the Baptisia has totally engulfed it. So I moved that one yesterday, so I'll show you what that is. So I'll walk around and show you what my goals are. I don't know what's actually going to get accomplished. If this is your first time watching, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy. Hope you get something out of it. If you are already a subscriber, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. As always, down below the video is a link to our Amazon store, especially with a lot of people ask me about the labels that I use. They're laminated labels. The P-Touch label is laminated. It lasts forever. It's awesome. I never have to replace them. They don't fade at all, unlike anything else that I've written with, the garden marker, which is great, but it does not last season to season. So again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, hit that like button. It really does make a difference. And let's get to doing some more midsummer maintenance. So this week, I hope for the next week, my goal is to take you along. I have an enormous amount of cleanup to do. So I'm starting here in the front on the driveway. This is basically my biggest annual bed. Got some annual salvia, playing the blue salvia, some Super Tunia Vista bubblegum, some marigolds in here. So just trying to cut things back, pulling out some of the Verbena bonariensis, which is what you see on the ground around me. So I thought I'd show you how I'm cutting back this annual salvia. It'll reflush right away. You're going to be cutting it back to a leaf, so let me get in here and show you what I'm doing. Okay, hopefully you can see this. So I'm cutting right back to a leaf set right there, and I'm going to do that all the way around this plant, and that will encourage new blooms, get rid of the spent blooms. And I'm going to just keep going around the plant until I've got them all cut. Simple as that. So I'm just going to finish. I've got a few of them here, and we'll see how that looks. So once I get everything cut here, I'm going to just put some slow release fertilizer down on there, and that'll encourage more growth for the plants for the rest of the season. So all along this side of my path, we are actually replacing the catmint, which breaks my heart, if you know me, with these gem box hollies. For the last couple of years, something has been, I don't know, attacking my catmint, and really destroying it. And I've now replaced things a few times. I'm not using my auger here, FYI, just because when they built this house, there's 1,000 little rocks in here. And while that works for my husband, it doesn't work for me because of my luck that would bounce back on me even if it stopped automatically. My wrist is just not strong enough. So what I'm doing is digging my hole. Then I'm going to get my biotone. And put that in the hole. Doing this the same for each of them. Gonna get some water in there, even though, frankly, we've had so much water. Whoa, sorry. Even though we've had so much water, I'm actually hesitant to water anything. But we have more wood chip to put on here. So I'm gonna get some water in there. And, you know, I'm using a kneeling pad. I've got my Felcos. I have 2s and 6s. One I use the most is the 6. So just FYI, that's what I use. Ideally, you always want to plant things a little high. Make sure you're taking into account the fact that you're going to have some wood chip around these. So that's otherwise you're going to be burying your plant. Now these are nice. They are rooted. Very nice. These are Prune winners, color choice shrubs, jumbox holly. Actually, I think I dug that a little low. So let's put a little bit of dirt back in there. So I want these about 1 inch above the ground. Make sure they're straight. Backfill them in. Sometimes if I have land and seed compost, I'll put that in. I don't have any right now. So I'm just going around, like I said, and getting these in the ground. And then I'll come back when we're finished, and we'll get some mulch around these. Okay, it's really that simple. So I'm going to keep going. Probably can't get finished. I have to pull the rest of the catmint out of here. I'm trying to get the weeds out at the same time. Got a lot of angel lace in here, which is okay. I don't mind that. But I also have a lot of clover. So one thing at a time. And I'll show you when we get it all done. This is my favorite weeder. I'll have to see if I can find where I got this. I honestly don't remember. It's what I prefer. I know other people use a different one, but this is the one that I like. I find that it works. So as you can see, there were lots of weeds there. And I'm also trying to cut back the Amsonia right there. Believe it or not, those varieties, I swear, are the same, but they look completely different. And their growth habit is different. But I'm trying to cut that back because it's just, I do have coneflowers that have self-seeded themselves in there, but otherwise it really would be laying on top of the new hollies. So I'm trying to give them a little air, a little space. Let's get this job done. I'll show you when I have it all finished and mulched. Okay, well, I'm true truly exhausted at this point, but I'm finished. So I got all the hollies in. This is Proven Winners Gembox Holly. I pulled out the catmint on this side because we've just been having problems with it, like I said. So they're all in. They grow about 3 by 3, so I'd like them to grow together. I tried to do them like, 1.5 feet apart, and they're about 16 inches in from the end. And I'm really pleased with the way it looks. I like it from both sides. I cut back that Amsonia a little bit. And, whoops, I'm in my shadow because the sun's now over here. But I like the way it looks. I think it's really pretty. Yes, one project finally finished and the wood chip is down. Hallelujah, on to the next. Now it's very bright and sunny, so I apologize. I can't complain though, because the weather's been horrible. So this is Queen of the Prairie. And as it's finished blooming, I'm gonna be cutting it back because it gets very invasive for me. We do have it tied up on supports, but it just, will keep going. So that's one of my things. And I'm walking around in no particular order. Bleeding hearts obviously are done, so I'm gonna be cutting those back. I started already to cut back the ladies' mantle. I think I've gotten most of it. I might actually divide some astilbe in the next week or so. I did also start yesterday to cut back this aruncus, goat's beard. The blooms are lovely, and but they're actually, again, they're laying on this hosta. Things are laying on top of everything. I can't get over the size of my 9-barks. These have not been here all that long. It's kind of crazy. All right, walking around. Things are really getting a lot of Japanese beetle damage between that and the slugs, but the Japanese beetles are really doing a number. So here, this is Karinga shoma, wax bells, and this has just started blooming. This is a really pretty, very unusual plant. I really like that. So right now, until when that finishes blooming, I will cut it back. In this bed over here, I see a big weed. I did get the daffodils cut back. We have a million little maple starts all over the place. It looks like, wow, it looks like the Japanese anemones also are getting really eaten by Japanese beetles. Not good. This is a challenging year. There's just no two ways about it. Okay, I started yesterday. I did get these catmint cut back on this side of the bed. And something, I don't know what the problem is with this globe thistle. A lot of the lower leaves are brown and crispy. Same back there. I'm really not sure what's going on with that. So I did get that cut back. I planted some more potatoes. My goal today is to cut down this larkspur and the feverfew. I've got gladiolas coming up. This sweet pea is finished. I'm going to take that down. Let's see. We've got a lot of wood chips to re-rake. We've had some pouring rain. Look at the size of that geranium roseanne. Tomatoes, I cut off yesterday a lot of the extra leaves. No point in having all that extra weight. And I moved some broccoli into this bed. And again, I did some more potatoes. I've got celosia here. Oops, stuck on the Horta Nova netting. Let's walk around, sorry. Though I need to harvest some of that celosia, I guess. This is Let's Dance Blue Jangles. It's not blue. I need to get some soil acidifier on that. So these catmint right here need to all get cut back. A new carex. Ooh, snapdragon, yay! And some Dara. I'm starting to get some amaranth. And Atroplex back there. I've got a lot of plants for one of my design clients. Lots of Proven Winners. It's starting to look like a nursery here. So those things are kind of just sitting here. Pinky Winky doesn't need anything from me. These viburnums underneath, the lower branches really could use some cutting. So let me slowly try to turn around without making you guys dizzy. Let's see what we've got over here. Just cleaning up daylilies. So not only am I deadheading daylilies, I'm also cutting back the stalks now. I don't cut back the leaves till the very end of the season, and frankly, they just disappear on their own. But I will cut back stalks. And just trying to cut back things, you know, that are starting to lay all over the place. Like I said, we've had so much rain, things are laying on top of one another. So here's where I moved the foxglove out of. It was down under there because this baptisia. There are 3 in there, but boy, oh my gosh, they got way bigger here. I guess they really like this spot. Agastaki is blooming right here. This is Blue Fortune. I've got some red cabbage snuck in there. I'm gonna give to a girlfriend. The other one is obviously not getting enough sun, so that one's not doing as well. What else? Yesterday I cut back some of this black-eyed Susan because, again, it is encroaching on the Durvilla back. Oops, I hit my arm. The Durvilla back here. We've got baptisia in there. We've got Amsonia in there. We've got some phlox in there. We've got more phlox over there. We've got a lot of grasses in here. And things are, I'm starting to feel that it's just too much. Got to figure out where I can edit and when I can edit. Here's a lupin that I need to move because it's not doing well in this spot at all. Penstemum, we're going to get those cut back because they're just, they're finished blooming. And while the seed heads are really nice in flower arrangements, this is supposed to be like a water travel path for us. So I want to get that cleaned out. Bee balm, every year I pull it out and every year it comes back. So I've kind of given up on bee balm. It's not worth trying to pull it out. Okay, what else? Again, I think because of the extreme rain, I had to completely chop the herbstone Rebecca, which breaks my heart. I also have been cutting back a lot of this Joe Pye weed, and I think I'm going to pull that Joe Pye weed out completely. It's laying on everything else. It's supposed to be Little Joe. It's very tall. It's very tall, and it's just, again, I feel a little overwhelmed with some of these plants. They're just on steroids, and I guess I can't complain that things are really happy. And my husband says I have a green thumb, but you know, sometimes it's detrimental. So again, because of the water, my Radin's favorite aster right here, again, has flopped over, so it's laying on the Cheyenne Spirit coneflowers, it's laying on the Agastaki, it's laying on all the alliums. The Helenium still looks okay. And the Carene helianthus over by the birdhouse still looks okay. I can't see in the sun. I also have 2 lupins back here that are doing very poorly, but my Sweet William is doing well, so I'm really excited about that. So a lot of the things I grew from seed, even though I thought I was not going to have any success with it, has actually worked out pretty well. I think the coneflowers look amazing. So the other thing I did start yesterday, I literally just plopped myself down and sat down and started deadheading the daisies. The nice thing with daisies is you can follow it back, usually, to where you can see a new bud forming. So, like right down in here, you can see there's a new bud. So when I cut this back, I would cut it back to where there's a new bud. So I have a lot of daisies that need some deadheading. Coneflowers are fine. Grasses are fine. Sedum I cut back earlier this year, so that's going to be where it is. I'm debating about trying to get in and cut this spirea back a little bit, but I think there's just too many bees. I don't think I can do it. I feel like it's crowding the oak leaf hydrangeas so much. I mean, it's a nice support, and of course if I cut it, I'll have some big open areas, but I feel like I'm just kind of suffocating the oak leaf hydrangeas. This is the best they've ever looked for me. Zebra grass growing like crazy. Can't even see the support we made for it anymore. I got some birds. I got some baby birds up there, and they are so loud. They're going crazy all the time. It's kind of fun. Conchidor lilies. I've been just trying to get rid of red lily beetles when I see them. More Cheyenne spirit here. I've got Atlas roses in here. It's a little hard to get back in here at this point. I've still got dahlias stuck all around. The smell here is incredible. Let me slowly turn around. All right. This catmint all needs to be cut back. I'm hesitating on the astilbe. I usually leave it. It looks fine after it blooms. I may go and cut that back. Just it'll reflush. It won't rebloom, but it'll reflush. So let's see what else. So this clethra, same thing. It's really laying down, and I can see that really well from up above. I'm not sure why it's not standing up anymore. And I think maybe it's just gotten so heavy, but it's getting ready to bloom. So again, I hate to, I hate to do anything to it. Some of the dahlias are not looking so good, and some of them are looking really good. It's just a crapshoot, if you ask me. All right, swinging over here, my canna looks great. So if you remember earlier this year, I cut this calicarpa all the way down to nothing, and it's completely flushed back. The rest of the stuff in this container didn't do so well, and it's probably just because it doesn't get enough light. Morning light grasses in the back there, and some big weeds that I see. So I do try, like I said, to come out and deadhead, just to kind of keep it neat and clean. Unfortunately, I planted some pomegranate yarrow down here, and rabbits are eating it. Got some cleome stuck back there. My greenhouse is very warm. Even with shade cloth, we put up some shade cloth. Sorry, I've got a fan going in here with my amaryllis, but it's still very warm in there. And even with all the water we've had, some of the dahlias are still kind of drooping. So again, this is spun silk daisy. That needs some deadheading. That obviously needs some water. Most of the time they just revive, but I think I better get some water on that quickly so I don't lose it. This river birch, Little King, let's see if we can get back from it, is really getting heavy on this side. So I'm gonna try and do some trimming there. Mountain mint in the back looks good. Same thing with the baptisias here. These are all finished blooming. Yes, the seed heads are really nice, but I think I'm gonna cut them back a little bit. I've also been trying to do some cutting back, and I will say I kind of did a hack job yesterday on this calacanthus, because it's laying on the monk's hood, it's laying on the bridal veil spirea, it's spreading by suckers. So trying to sort of stay on top of some of that stuff. I bought a support for the veronicastrum. There's so many bees, there's just no way I can get in there. I just can't. But on the flip side of that, well, the betony looks great. So I won't be touching that, but when it's finished blooming, I will come in and deadhead that. And I even have some baby's breath that I started last year that I was like, okay, well, it died. And then I saw it this year, it actually survived. It's hard to believe. So in this bed, most of this salvia has been cut back. Has it been cut back as much as I'd like? Not really. I could have cut it back farther. My husband did it with a trimmer. We're still having a lot of snails, slugs, whatever, Japanese beetles. This is a challenging year. Look at the pretty lilies. That container is doing really well. Got Supertunia Bordeaux and Superbena whiteout, my ageratum that I grew from seed is growing really nicely. We did get all this catmint cut back, and it's starting to reflush for the most part. We have some more we need to cut back here though. It's hard to believe, I can't even believe I'm gonna say this, but I think some things actually really need water today. Might do some trimming on the apple. And then also, if you remember that I cut this Salix all the way down to just a couple of big branches, and look at the size of it now. So I'm sorry, I did not get the camera set up today. I had so much to do, and let me show you what I got done. So we cut the Siberian irises down. We're falling all over the place. Normally I don't cut them down, but with all the rain this year, it's just things are out of control. It weeds all over the place. So I also got cut back salvia. That'll definitely come back up. So you can see I really just hacked it. So don't be afraid to cut your stuff down. Daylilies, I've been deadheading and cutting off the stalks. Cut the stalk all the way down when it finishes blooming. I've also been trying to pull the lower leaves off all the dahlias, just because I'm having a lot of trouble with, slugs and that kind of stuff. So that's what got done over here. Walking down over here, I had Wizard of Oz Veronica in here. Again, you can see that I really just chopped it all the way down, trying to make some space for things at this point. I've got some lobelia that's getting ready to put on a little show. Same thing with the sweet potato vine and the supertunias. I cut this stuff way back. Just went in and kind of chopped it all down. So don't be afraid to cut things back. It's a pretty time of day in the garden for sure. It's, late afternoon, early evening. It's really pretty out here at this point. Hydrangeas are pretty much all opening. Got phlox. This is a blackberry lily. Got lots of coneflowers. Like I said, it's a really pretty time of day. Coosa dogwood. It's got its little flower bracts. Still have, I've got some liatris in there that hasn't been eaten by a critter. Yay. Look how pretty this Schubertii allium still looks. Still have loosestrife blooming. So I haven't cut that back. I didn't get to this penstemum in here. I did get some other penstemum cut back. Just was cutting the stalks back. So let me see what else I did today. So I think in one of my recent videos, you saw I lost a massive branch on my catalpa tree. Heartbreaking. So I've been trying to limit up a little bit. One, even it out. Two, take a little bit of the weight off of it. What else did I do today? Seems like I did a lot, but I'm not seeing a ton. What else did I do? Did I do anything over here? Besides deadheading daylilies, got lots of dahlias blooming. Like I said, trying to get some of the lower branches off of some of these dahlias. Again, just because I am having so much trouble with snails and slugs and Japanese beetles, so I'm just pulling this stuff off. Got a gorgeous lily over there. And I love this daylily here. This is called Bella Lugosi. And this is Chicago Arnie's Choice. Now I just ran the sprinkler, so it doesn't look so great, but normally it's so pretty. It's a really deep color. So I wanted to give you a better close-up. So here's an annual salvia. So to cut this back, you're just going to go all the way back down in here and cut it at a, I mean, you could just chop it, but I like to cut them right at an intersection of some new branching and new leaves. It's really that simple. Don't make it more complicated than it has to be. Like I said, I didn't get a chance yesterday to do some of this stuff, and I just wanted to show you close up how to do some of this stuff. It's back to being humid, so I'm not doing a ton of outside stuff, but I just wanted to get in and show you some of the close-ups that I didn't get to do again. So we're just going to come in and cut things back. So in the case of daisies, I like to follow these all the way back down, get in and cut it back where, can you see maybe right here, there's a new bud starting, and that's where I cut things back to. So take it all the way down, the spent foliage, the spent blooms, cut those off. It really does help the plant. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. Again, I haven't finished these. Just wanted to give you some close-ups. So same thing. I go all the way down to wherever I can either see an intersection or I can see that I have a new bud. And sometimes it just depends. Sometimes you really have to take it all the way down. It just, like I said, it just depends where you're at. So that's daisies. That's how to do the daisies. Let's see what else. Let me find some other things. Okay, so like I said, I like to deadhead daylilies. You don't have to. But when they're finished, I like to follow it all the way back, and I like to cut the stalk. So here's another one. Sorry, I'm doing this with one hand. And it doesn't hurt to pull weeds while you're in there. So again, same thing. Here it is. I'm gonna follow it all the way down and cut it off. So that's how I do the daylilies. I've been stripping the foliage on the dahlias just because I'm having so much trouble with snails and slugs and beetles. Figure it's less for them to attack. So again, I'm just stripping that stuff off. Does it help? Who knows? My cup and saucer vine is finally blooming. Yay! Got first getting two blooms on this. I mean, it's climbing all the way up. It's climbing all the way up and over, but I'm finally getting some blooms. This is very exciting. You know, when you grow things from seed, it's kind of nice when they finally reward you. Same thing with still doing feverfew, and that's still blooming. Broccoli still growing. Tomatoes, all this stuff I grew from seed. So I'm pretty excited about this stuff this year. Tomatoes are looking amazing. So I've got lots of tomatoes. I've got more potatoes. My celosia, I've been cutting back on my celosia. My stalk is not doing great. Not sure what the story is with the stalk. So I cut the catmint back. You can see right down at the bottom, I just took off the old branches and I left the new growth. I find that's the best way to do it, and it takes less time. I actually prefer it versus the trimmer method, but sometimes when my husband's helping me, I think he just likes to use the trimmer. It makes it quick and easy. But I like to go in by hand and just, like I said, get the old branches down at the bottom. They're usually very thick, and just quickly clip them off. I'm very excited that my blue glow thistle is finally blooming. However, this one looks great. This one looks terrible. That one looks even worse. And the one in the back looks even worse. I'm not sure what the story is. If you have an idea, let me know, because obviously they're all getting the same treatment. So the other day when I was cutting things back, I mentioned to you that I was cutting the goat's beard, the aruncus back. So here it is again. I'm just cutting back to an intersection. Nothing fancy, nothing, you know, nothing, no particular rhyme or reason. Just cutting it back so things are not laying down. You can see how here, you know, it's kind of laying on this hosta. So just trying to cut things back and lighten things up, because with all the rain we've had, things are just laying on top of things. Can you believe that's one hosta? Okay, same goes for the bleeding heart. Now these are done. So again, whoops, I'm gonna get in there. I'm just gonna cut this all the way back, all the way down. Because bleeding hearts are not going to, maybe flush some foliage, but they're certainly not gonna rebloom. So again, we're just gonna cut all that back and clean it up. Pretty simple. Pull it out. And it, you know, at least it tidies things up a bit. Last one. Easy peasy, all done. One more thing I do like to do. I'm not a huge fan of the flowers on hostas. I think when they finish, they look ugly. So I do go in, I go all the way back down on these and I cut them off. So cut them, I like to cut them right out. I just go down as far as I can and I cut them out. Don't make it more work than it is. I also mentioned cutting back the penstemum to you. So again, I do like to use these in my flower arrangements, but again, you can just go down and cut off the stalk. And, you know, just takes a little pressure off the, whoops, not getting that. Just takes a little bit pressure off the plant. Less to work, it's very hot, takes less, you know, less work for the plant. And lastly, here's crystal blue salvia. So same thing, I'm gonna just come down, I'm gonna cut back into where there's, you know, some new foliage, an intersection, and it'll branch back out. I don't wanna get in too far because there's lots of nice pollinators here, but just go down, cut it back, and you're good to go. And it'll keep, you know, sending out new shoots on the sides. Oops, got a little bee enjoying itself there. So again, it's pretty simple. I don't think you can see this too great. So I'm gonna take this Joe Pye weed out. I think I mentioned that. So we cut back everything that was not inside the support. My herbstone fell over in a storm, was all bent. So we've been cutting that back. I still have a lot of daisies here that have not been cut back. So I'll be getting to that sometime this week, hopefully. We're supposed to get our humidity back, unfortunately, which is not a good thing, but definitely gonna have to get on to that. I did some, not a lot. That one looks pretty for sure. these guys definitely need some cutting back. I find they keep blooming better if you deadhead them. You don't have to, but I think it looks nicer. I got a virtual jungle going here. I've got grasses that are out of control here. I'm not sure where that happened. And like I said, I've got penstemon in here that needs to be deadheaded, which I don't always do. Some of the dahlias are doing better than others. You know, with all the rain we've had, I don't know, some of them look really nice. Got another canna down here, and a caladium in there, and some sweet potato vine, and there is a begonia hidden in there. This, I think you might have seen me earlier this season cut this pink diamond all the way back. Everything I cut back has grown back in spades, almost way more than I ever wanted. I've got, here's a cafe au lait dahlia down in here. Mrs. Robert Bryden is a non-vining clematis, is starting to put on some flowers. My wisteria, again, is out of control. I've got plants all over that are just absolutely out of control. I mean, it's kind of nuts. I mean, it is blooming, but it's also being eaten alive by Japanese beetles, which is not great. I've got tons of shrubs. I could be a Proven Winners nursery at this point. I have so many Proven Winners pots all over, all over here, waiting for a client install. What else did I cut back? I cut back my, oh, look how pretty Olympia is going to open really soon. This is an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous rose lily. Mahogany Splendor hibiscus. I also did cut back some of the burnet. I cut back some of this persicaria. I didn't get to all of it. I started working on the salix. Again, didn't get very far. I did get some stuff done on the red twig dogwoods. Oh, look how pretty the stokesia is here. So I did get some of this penstemon here cut back. Got another lily here. But I've really had a lot of trouble with red lily beetles this year. Let's see, we're moving into some serious sunlight here. I did not get to Spirea ogon. I did get to a lot of the red twig dogwood. I did get to a lot of that because it was really laying over my summerific hibiscus, and so that was not getting any sunlight. Neither was my container back there or the phlox. I got my Amsonia here, cut back a little bit more to give those coneflowers that are self-seeding themselves in there a chance. What else did we get done? Like I said, I'll show you the other side of the red twig dogwood that I did get cut. So I did get a lot of this cut. Same thing. This was really just encroaching so badly on my magnolia that the magnolia is doing terrible this year. It was doing really well, and then it's not. So I cut this back a lot. I can't get to the top of this. We're gonna have to seriously just coppice this to the ground in the springtime. We've already made that decision. What else? I did some work on cutting back more catmint. And let's see, got birds going crazy. I did get a lot cut off this Little King river birch, again, because it was just hanging down on the grass, literally hanging on the Verona castrum. So I did get that done. I cut some of the Baptisia here, a little bit, just so it's not laying on Firelight Tidbit, just to give that a little bit of breathing space. Let's see, what else? Let's take another look around. This is Mini Mauvette, looks so pretty. It's just such a pretty time of day. It's so pretty. Things just kind of glisten at this time of day. And, you know, it's nice to try not to look at all the problems. See all the weeds. This is Powwow White right here. I've got a daylily called Sweet Aubergine over there. Things are growing good here. Let's Dance Big Band. I started to cut these spun silk daisies down, cut them back, but I didn't get finished with that either. Cheyenne Spirit. There's a really pretty dahlia. That one's called Deborah Renee. I like that one. And I'm getting a new one here too. Not sure what that is. It's pretty though. Cannas. Like I said, I just ran the sprinkler, so the daylilies don't look so good. This Calycanthus, I will cut this branch just so it's not laying in the grass, because otherwise it's going to get run over by the lawnmower anyway. And I've got a couple different, beautiful lilies here. Whoops, we've definitely got Japanese beetles. Very pretty. I don't remember what that one is. This I know is Conquidor. Again, I've had a lot of issues with red lily beetle. Oh my God, this little frog is still in this daylily. Check this out. He was here the other day, he's still in there. That is too funny. Don't think I got anything cut back over here. So that's kind of the sum total of what's been happening today. Again, I apologize for not being able to photograph all this stuff. It's just, there's just been so much to do. I just really needed to, 1, 2, 3, get it done. I didn't have somebody to sit and photograph, video for me. So I was just trying to work as quick as I possibly could to get things done. I mean, even simple things like my spruces, I like to try to make sure they're not laying on the ground. It's very hard to get to all of this stuff. One day at a time, try and see all the beauty. Like I said, my oak leaf hydrangeas have never looked this good. So I'm trying to revel in the moments and not see every single weed that I have or every job. But I did get some of my projects off my list, so I'm not going to complain. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. If there's something you want me to talk about, please let me know. If not, have a great weekend.